Nobody has to worry.
Thank you, Siddhi.
You're welcome.
Just want to say good morning to beautiful ladies. I'm so happy to hear your voices and see you this morning. So let's close our eyes and let's imagine our circle of women, of brilliantly wonderful, compassionate, deep and penetrating women who are on the path and journey of exploring themselves and life and existence in such beautiful ways. And let's join hands in our circle that we can connect ourselves across continents and across time zones, knowing that in this moment we are all here, regardless of what time the clocks say somewhere else, regardless of what our space is, whether we're in our home or we're with a relative, it doesn't matter. We're here together. And let's ask those who need extra support this week. Sasha has asked for her husband, Hanson, and for her sister-in-law that we hold them in the center of our circle. And any of you who feel the need to have additional support over and above what we're offering one another, place yourself in the center of the circle. And let's open our hearts. Let's consciously open our hearts and flood the love and the energy and the compassion into our circle, letting it overflow back onto us, knowing that the love and compassion that we have to offer the world simply goes out and is reflected back to us. It's a circle. We never lose it. When you give it, it always comes back in the abundance of its form. But that will consciously hold those whose lives are in transition, who need additional support. We hold you in our hearts in a very tender and conscious way today. And just feel that strength that our circle is holding, that the energy that's flowing through the hands of the woman on either side of you. Knowing that all of her pain and all of her journey is a part of the beauty and the exquisite nature she's sharing. And let that energy circle at the speed of light around our circle. So it's spinning. And elevating our consciousness and our awareness of this journey that we're on together, and that we are not alone, we are not one, we are all. And giving a gentle squeeze to the hand that is from the woman on both sides of you, reminding her that you're present and giving thanks that she's here also. And when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes.
And bring your hands into prayer pose. Bow towards your heart. Just for a moment, bow towards each other's hearts. And when we tune in with 3 arms, inhale deeply. Inhale, suspend your breath. And then we exhale. Resting our hands onto our knees, opening our eyes for a moment. And I just want you to gently roll your head back to the side, down, inhaling up, exhaling down. Only move as long as it feels comfortable. If there's a little pain there, ease up. Just stimulating your thyroid gland this morning. We gently reverse the direction. Now I invite you to make a figure 8 with your chin. Stimulating our little brainstem, who is the conductor, residing in the back of our head, where we pivot our head from left to right. Just stimulate this little stem, because that fires a lot of energy up into our brain and allows for more clear thinking. It's a very crucial point in our body, in the back of our neck. And I shared in my ongoing class this week, it's even great when you are out in the sun to once in a while lift your hair up and have the sun penetrate your neck in the back. Let light come onto it. Good, and then slowly come into the center. Bring your arms out into a V form. That will be your inhalation. On the exhalation, you bring your arms up, but the palms will not touch. So it's inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. All breath is through the nostrils right now. We will change in a minute, but right now just breathe in and out through your nostrils. Lifting your diaphragm right now. You're working gallbladder, spleen, a lot of meridians in this moment, helping your heart. You go for one more minute. Now you inhale nose, exhale open mouth. Really pull your navel towards your spine on your exhalation. I know the arms will fall, feel a bit heavy, but keep going. Press against gravity. Last 30 seconds. Last one. And rest your hands onto your knees, palms facing down, eyes are closed, preferable. Just feel for a moment. And this was 2 minutes. And see how these 2 minutes made a difference within you. Then we open our eyes. We bring all our fingertips, touch the tip of our thumb. And we place this mudra on top of our shoulders. And from here, we inhale, we open our palms and we spread the fingers as wide as possible. And exhale, making the same mudra. Tip of your thumb touches all other fingertips. So it's inhale, exhale, exhale. You will feel that your shoulders are moving slightly up and down. Giving more space to your lungs. And their health is crucial right now for all of us. Last 30 seconds. Speed it up. Inhale, bring your arms up. Suspend your breath while you're bringing your hands back onto your knees. Once they touch, you exhale, open mouth. Inhale through your nostrils. Exhale, open mouth. 2 more times. Good. We bring our left arm forward in front of us. Our left palm is facing to the right. Now you take your right arm and you go below your left arm. You place all your right fingers into your left palm. I say that one more time. So left palm is facing out to the right. Right arm goes underneath. And then you wrap your right fingers over your left hand. You bring your arms up to here, and then you swing them down all the way towards your ankle or your chair, wherever you're sitting. So you go like, strong breath. This is your last exercise. Put your heart and soul into it. Cleanse your sinuses. Cleanse your lungs. Stimulate your heart. They're great, all these 3 little exercises are great to share with your family and friends, especially over Thanksgiving, yeah? Because you want to make sure everybody stays healthy. 6 minutes. That's all. Increase the pace if your body allows you for the remaining time. Last 30 seconds. Come on, we can do this. Inhale up. Suspend your breath. Pull perineum, sex organ, navel in and up. Squeeze tight. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Consolidate the energy within you. Exhale. Sweep through your auric field. Rest your hands onto your knees, palms upward. Breathe fully into your belly, widen your rib cage, lift your chest on your inhalation. Be present to the fullness of your breath right now. And in this posture, we can, with our ears, we can listen to Nirmala. And with our heart, we can stay open and allow in what she has to share.
Thank you, Siddhi. Letting our body just settle after that movement is so luscious. Just feeling into the energy, the heightened energy in our body, and allowing it just to release. So nice. So today, we're going to continue with some of the inspiration and wisdom from the Buddhist tradition. I have a couple of interesting observations, but actually before I begin with that, I want to just mention the toolbox. Many of you have been contacting me with difficulty of accessing the toolbox. And as I said earlier, it's not the most intuitive process that I have found online. Maybe it's the least intuitive, but I'm just going to give you one key word. Whenever necessary, if it asks for a password, it's shared wisdom, all one word, all lowercase. And it may appear sometimes that it's asking you to join again, but when you choose that link, it actually takes you to a login page. So it isn't just joining, it's joining if you're new, and it's logging in if you're an existing participant. So just trying to help make this a little more accessible, because there's some really beautiful postings that the ladies have been leaving with things that we can share, resources that we can share with one another that are helpful to supporting this journey. Some of them are for our body, some for our meditative state. So when you get a chance, try again. I'm going to send instructions as part of our weekly email as well. So you have it someplace current to look, to remind yourself how to get into this. So let's see if we can access it more easily. And please share your musings and your wanderings and your inspirations with us. It's really a beautiful way for us to connect. So Buddhism. A couple of observations that I found when I was just pondering the Buddhist Eightfold Path. And the first one was that Buddha really taught this presence of heart integrated with our sadhana as a way to access wisdom. It's an interesting weaving together of both our logic and our heart knowing, which is somewhat unusual. He doesn't ask us to abandon our mind's eye or our logic, but he asks us to see the world through a heart lens and to bring all of ourselves to the process of our discernment in our spiritual journey and in our endeavoring to uncover reality for ourselves so that that becomes the lens through which we see life. And this again speaks to the middle way, the middle path, which Buddha taught so beautifully. He experienced both the excuse me, the overindulgent life and the ascetic life. And ultimately he chose to teach from the middle way, the middle path, and the integration of all of these capacities that we have. Our intellect and our mind is a beautiful thing. It should be razor knife sharp. And when it's time to use it and call it into action, it should be agile and trained and supple. But it also can be our worst enemy if we allow it to lead us into every situation. So in my mind, my thought process is called into use when it's most needed. Otherwise, it's set to the side. And the heart lens, the heart view, is the one that I want to live the majority of my life through. But I don't abandon my mind's eye. And Buddha didn't teach that. So I'm just looking at the wisdom of the Buddhist tradition and thinking how beautiful it is that it looks at us as a fullness rather than stripping us down to just one thing, that the flavor of us comes through the combinations of our body, mind, spirit. The second thing is the order of the Buddhist Eightfold Path, of the teachings. It reminded me, and so I was thinking about it, it reminded me of the 10 Commandments in the Judeo-Christian tradition, in that the first 5 of our commandments in the Judeo-Christian tradition are about being in relationship with divine. So in this case, it's a theistic tradition, so it's the divinity of God. But the first, when I compared that to the first of the teachings in the Eightfold Path, which is right understanding, Buddha was very clear that it's wisdom that comes in, it's out of it's not us, our mind thinking about right understanding, it's understanding the cosmic law and alignment with something that is bigger than us, that we're a part of, but bigger than us. It's not us deciding what is reality. And I thought that's so interesting that both of those traditions or teachings are asking us to first align ourselves with cosmic truth or universal truth or God truth, or however you want to language it. But there's the understanding that there is a truth that exists that is we're back to the absolute. There's an absolute truth to the way that the world works. And we can decide to be in alignment with that first, and then make decisions, personal decisions, out of how we want to work around that, work through that, to adapt. But if we don't align with universal truth to begin with, then our vision is skewed. We can't see clearly because we're aligning with something that isn't actually happening. We're making up something. And it's really important that we start seeing the world through through the view of right understanding, or of cosmic truth, or of universal truth. So in the Buddhist tradition, we start there. That's our first place of movement. Once we see that alignment and we're aware of our place in the fullness of the system of truth, we can move into action. And in the biblical sense, the first 5 commandments talk about what is that relationship with the divine? How does that look? And the second 5, the 5 through 10, are actually about how we're in relationship with one another and with ourselves. And on the Eightfold Path, we go from the right view and the right understanding and the right intention. As we go down the Eightfold teachings, we go into how is it that I then take that into the world? So we start with ourselves. What's our internal alignment that allows us to go into the world in truth? And then how does our action come out of that? So if you're acting out of compassion and a heartfelt space, how you behave in the world is going to look different than if you're working out of a mindset that says things have to appear or occur or unfold in a certain way. Your mind wants things to have a nice, compact order. It's more comfortable. That's our mind's job. So when we need to use our mind, fabulous, let it do that. But when we need to use our heart, how do we contain the mind? So today we're going to talk a little bit about right intention. So the first of the Eightfold Path was the right understanding, actually getting our view. How are we seeing the world, and are we seeing it without the attachment of our worry, of our fear, of our concerns, of our wishes, of the way that we've decided something's going to be? I had an interview yesterday with a gentleman who's doing some PhD work, and he wanted to talk a little bit about the spiritual journey for his work. And he asked about judgment and how I saw judgment. And I thought about that for a moment, and I realized that for me, when judgment happens the most is when I bring in the past to give reference point to the present. And when I do that consistently, then I don't have the opportunity for a new present to happen because it's already built on what I've experienced as my past. It takes a lot of effort for us to let the past stay there and to be willing to see the present in a really unique unfolding that isn't influenced by our past prejudices, fears, experiences. If you had a bad experience in the past around something, every time a similar occurrence comes up to be in your life, you may have a trigger. And you're already seeing that situation as being concerning. And the question becomes, how do we live each moment as though we're a child and we're learning it for the first time? And that's not helpful in cases where, you don't want to put your hand on the fire, every single time because you didn't learn it the first time. We can use our awareness for where there could be danger or something that's uncomfortable that we shouldn't enter into. But the way that we cloud our experience of the present is when we are unwilling to let go of past experiences and past reference points so that we can live into something new. So right understanding and right intention, we have to first predicate them on being willing to let the past be the past and be willing to let a new present unfold in a way that is dynamic. We're dynamic individuals. We're not stagnant. Things are never the same. So the experience you had in the past may not be the same in the future if you're willing to see it differently. I think that it's a very fine line that we walk in life to be able to utilize that which is necessary from our past to keep us safe and to give us stability, but not impair us. How do we use the brilliance of learning, of things that we've learned, without letting them become a trap? And what if we decide that new situations could be completely different from the same situation last year, that everything's different. So that's pretty easy for us to do. But imagine that without a prejudice or a judgment or a concern, we allow a situation to unfold and we wait to see, is it going to do something different? And until we get to the place, a critical junction of, I need to use my tools from the past because this is repeating itself. I'm not going to stay in the same repetition and patterns. If there's something I need to change, I need to change. If there's something I need to utilize, but how do we go into each moment as brilliantly possible in its newness? How do we do that? So our intention, right intention, is a process where we ask for first we set an intention. Many of you will have done in yoga classes, you will have done sankalpas, where you set an intention for your class. I'd like this class to deepen me into something, to have an understanding of a situation more profoundly, to whatever your personal sankalpa is. You'll set it as your intention for the class. or for a meditation or for a spiritual discipline. And then that's your intention. In Buddhism, we take it a little bit farther, that we say that our intention comes through the lens of three different ways, three different aspects. One is harmlessness, that our intention, whatever we intend to do in our life, it should come through the lens of harmlessness, that we should be doing good, not harm, to those that we love, to those that we don't know, to those that we have a difficult time with. All sentient beings should be held in harmlessness. And that's not easy to do when we use our old judgments and our old experiences to tell us that something or someone is not good. How do we hold them in the possibility that with harmlessness, they may actually evolve into something different? They may not be the same. How do we do that? The second way that we look at right understanding through the Buddhist lens is that it means that we have a persistence and a passion for our journey. So Buddha was asking, first see it through right understanding, see what's really true. And then through your intention, anchor yourself to that truth and be inspired by the journey. It takes persistence to be uncovering ourselves. It takes courage to get up every day and to face what the day brings you in honesty for how you feel, for what it's calling up for you, what it's requiring of you. To show up in willingness 100% takes a lot of courage. But right intention requires that of us, if we look at it through the Buddhist lens, that we should be looking at our journey as right intention. So if I have the right intention to stay on the path of uncovering reality and my life, and I'm doing it through the lens of my heart space and harmlessness, I'm going to do better and less, I'm going to create less discord in the world than if I'm contained in my mindset that's worried about protecting me. We have to be willing to go out on the end of the limb. If you stay close to the trunk of the tree where it's safe, you won't have the same experience as if you're willing to go out onto the limb and see through the leaves and see through the branches. Your life's going to expand, and there'll be a quality to it that helps you stay in the path. It helps you recognize that joy when we're repeating the expansiveness, our experience of the expansiveness of the universe. We have more joy. We want to stay in that journey, but we have to be willing to get a little bit out onto the edge. And right intention is where we set that as an intention to be on the leading edge of my experience, to be in the inspiration of my experience. Life will bring you inspiration. Stay on that edge. And when we're doing it from our heart, there's less likelihood that we're going to get into so much trouble. When you're doing it from your mind has the judgments and the precursors to what could possibly happen. There are a lot of ifs, ands, ors that go on in our mind. God's work is not the mind's work. God's work, the universal truth's work, is of the heart. It's not of the mind. The third way that we look at right intention is through our commitment to stay on the path. The absolute resolve to stay in our spiritual journey, to make it part of our lives. So how do we integrate that in all aspects of our life? It's not the spiritual journey is not separate from. We are spirit form. It's not separate from. Everything you do is spiritual. You can't separate it out. This is my spiritual journey and this is my other life journey. You are spirit. It's all spiritual. From what you eat, to how you exercise, to how you interact with people, to how you set your intention, to how you see the world and how you effort to see it in its reality. Because you'll show up differently to your life when you see everything that you do is spiritual. I always get a kick when people say, I'm spiritual but not religious. I'm like, of course you are. You're a spirit. That doesn't actually tell me very much about your journey. It just tells me that you've acknowledged that you're spirit. So this week, let's go into this journey as recognizing that if we set our intention to be spirit in the world and to bring all of us to that journey, that everything will open up for us. And let's see it through that lens this week, how we can work through our heart space and through the intention of being harmless in this world that we've come into, and being available through our heart space to serve others. And that you are spirit. Your life is a spirit journey.
Thank you, Namala. So I want to make sure that all of you have a very comfortable position right now, where you can relax into. And then I invite you to close your eyes. Just rest your hands on your knees, preferable palms facing upward. And just make sure that you sit in a comfortable position for this time period. And tune into your body and make really minute little change adjustments if they are needed. Sit in a way that feels comfortable but alert. We will start with a few minutes of concentration practice, just to help our minds to settle and to arrive in our present time experience. As you allow your body to resume to natural breathing, see where in your body you can feel your breath. It may be in the stomach or abdomen, where you can feel the rising and falling as the body breathes. It might be in the chest, where you may notice the expansion and contraction as the body inhales and exhales. Perhaps it's at the nostrils, where you can feel a slight tickle as the air comes in, and the subtle warmth as the body exhales. You can pick one spot to stick with for this meditation practice. As you feel the body breathing, try to stay with the breath all the way through. Stick with it from the beginning of the inhale all the way through the end of your exhale. You may have noticed the mind wandering. When the mind wanders, it really offers us an opportunity to cultivate mindfulness and concentration. Each time we notice the mind wandering, we are strengthening our ability to recognize our experience. Each time we bring the mind back to the breath, we are strengthening our ability to focus on an object. Treat it as an opportunity rather than a problem, and return to the breath. You can begin the practice by bringing to mind yourself as you sit here right now. Try to connect with your own deepest intentions for happiness, ease and safety. You don't need to dive into stories of what will make you happy, but connect with that natural desire you have. You can cultivate this intention to open your heart to your own well-being by silently offering yourself some phrases of metta. In your head, slowly offer yourself the phrases. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I be at ease. Now you can bring to mind a good friend. This may be a loved one, a friend, a teacher or mentor, or maybe a pet. You can connect with your natural desire to see this person happy and at ease. Just like you, this person wants to be happy, to feel safe, and to be healthy. In an effort to cultivate this intention of kindness, you can offer this person a few phrases of metta. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be at ease. And you can let this person go from your mind and bring to mind a neutral person. This is someone you see, maybe regularly, but don't know very well. It may be somebody who works somewhere you go a lot, a co-worker, or maybe a neighbor. Although you don't know this person well, you can recognize that this person wants to be happy as well. You don't need to know what the happiness looks like necessarily. Again, offer this person the phrases of loving kindness, connecting with the intention to care about their well-being. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be at ease. And as you let this neutral person go, you can bring to mind somebody who you find difficult. You may not want to pick the most difficult person in your life. Instead, choosing someone who is minorly difficult. Maybe it's someone you find yourself agitated with or annoyed by. You can offer the phrases, recognizing that this is connecting with our intention to care for this person. Although we may not mean it wholeheartedly every time we offer a phrase, we can make an effort with the phrases. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be at ease. And then we slowly bring our awareness back to ourselves. Connecting with our own heart. Bringing our hands into prayer pose. And tuning out with Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Spreading the fragrance of peace to all those that we encounter today, around our world, to every living being. Inhale deeply. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. You can remain sitting in silence. I will play some music. And then we're looking forward to having you next week.